So wait, tell us about the shirt again.
My shirt went to a Highwire brewery over in Durham, and they make these shirts for their employees, whatnot. And they had this rack of shirts that were unused.
That is a good feature.
But it had names on it already.
Right.
Already names on it. And there was one on there my size. There was only one, and the name on it was Smalls. Isn't that ironic?
It is ironic.
So I was like, "Hey, I bought it.
Nice.
It was like $15."
Did you wear it out of the brewery?
I did not. No, I didn't.
So what? You left the brewery with like a little bag?
I don't even know. It was just on a hanger. I was just walking around with it, threw it on my shoulder like I was a guy leaving
the cleaners.
Dry cleaners. There's no way dry cleaners are making money now.
Why?
Because nobody had, remember they used to do suits and stuff like that?
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, speaking of apparel, I was down at my father was in the hospital.
What?
Yeah. You didn't know that story? So I went down there for a few days to help out, whatnot. He's going to be fine.
It's because of that thing that happened in Vietnam?
No, that was Korea. That was Korea. He had a flare up. A little sore on his face. No. There's silly stuff, but he's going to be fine. And so I went down there, and I was just making observations while I'm there, right? Mm-hmm. How is it the hospital gown hasn't evolved?
I know. Haven't they heard of Velcro or like?
It hasn't evolved at all, and they have the same design on it that I think I had on a hospital gown when I had my appendix out when I was 18 years old. I mean, the same design.
Why it's got to be a joke. It's got to be like a joke that the doctors and nurses are like, let's just see how many ass cracks we can count.
And there were people. So I'm down in a region of the U.S., of course, that has a lot of older folks down there. Yeah. Where my parents were.
That's where I live.
And so
I wouldn't even recognize
this.
That.
Was down in South Carolina, retirement community area, and there's people walking up and down the hall, and I'm talking about people that are 90, right? And at least they're walking, they're getting their exercise and everything else. But their asses are just wide ass open out of the thing. Yeah. That's not what you want to see.
No. And they haven't done a lot of yoga.
A lot of yogurt. Not yoga.
Yeah. Tapioca.
But so then I was thinking, okay, well, what if you had some sort of surgery on the front side? Do they turn the gown around? Do you wear it open up here?
What do you mean all surgeries are from the back?
Well, but everything's open in the back, right? It all opens up in the back.
Right.
So if you had
it's not that it opens in the back, it never closes. It's like the 7-Eleven of clothing.
Well, I figure that's because so people can whatever that they need to get to the backside or whatever easier.
I mean, can't you just lift up?
That's what I'm thinking. I was thinking the same thing. And I was thinking, what if you had I don't know, your appendix taken out? Well, shouldn't it be open on the front side? So then, hey, let me check that instead of having to shimmy it up.
Yeah.
Because when you're in bed, you're laying down.
It's definitely a good question. He's got the two short strings in the back that you can't actually reach. Mm-mm. You're like, wait.
Well, especially so you can't really when you're 80 plus years old, you can't reach that shit.
Anyway, but the thing is even if you get the perfect tie, it's not helping.
No. I looked at that and I'm like, this is not evolved.
No.
It's not evolved at all.
Even the bedpan has evolved a little bit, hasn't it?
No. The curvature.
Yeah,
at least it's
where's the curve?
So it's ergonomic. Ergonomic.
Is it ergonomic?
I guess that's what
I've never actually had to use one, so I think I maybe rinsed some vegetables in one because my mother would bring them home from the hospital.
I think I wore one as a hat one time at a college party.
Hospitals are fun.
That was my head. Yeah. And there's another thing. What has not evolved in the hospital either is their TV system, their cable.
Oh, I know. Why don't they have a sign out front that says color TV, cable.
Yeah.
It's like the massive remote.
25 inches, right? It's 25-inch color TV. It's like motel on the highway.
Yeah.
But like so Wimbledon was on and we were trying to watch it, but we couldn't. So it was a flat screen TV, right?
Did you say Wimbledon or Wimbledon?
Well, Wimbledon, whatever, the tennis.
Right.
And so it's a flat screen TV that has HD capability, but there was no HD.
Right.
Add on top of that, their aspect ratio,
Yeah.
So all you saw was like blown up images of the players. You never saw the score.
Yeah.
You never saw the score. And then plus, in addition, they had the closed caption on. You couldn't turn the closed caption off, so that was covering half the screen. And it was always behind like a minute. So if you were like, I wonder what the score is, like you'd see the score, but it was like, a couple minutes ago, so
right.
you have no idea what's going on.
I would think that if you're watching tennis in a hospital, that the nurses would always be running in because every time they hit the ball, they're like, oh, oh, oh.
I mean, it comes down to, obviously every patient's different in how they do that. But I wonder if like when the nurses and that hear people like moaning, they're probably going, "No, stop being a pussy," and that, because some people probably are, some people aren't. But they've got their regiment and whatnot. I don't know.
That's funny.
Yeah. So it was a big mask thing too. So like I was supposed to wear a mask from when I got in the building to the room, but when I got in the room, they were like,
well, why does COVID want to hang out in a hospital?
Yeah.
That'd be the worst place for COVID to hang out.
So if I had to be if I was in the waiting room, I had to be masked up, double masked, and there was nobody in there. But I go in the room, the patient room, and there'd be doctors and everybody else, and nobody's got a mask on.
I don't get it. Like there's definitely some lingering mask places, like restaurants. When is that going to end?
Has it not ended here?
I don't know. I mean, listen, I just, being up in Maine for a couple of weeks.
A lot of masks.
I don't think they got the memo. Because literally you walk in places and everybody's just like masked up. There's people walking around, like parents, unmasked, but they have their kids with masks on. How reverse is that?
I think it's kind of trendy now for kids too. I think some parents have put such fear in their kids.
Oh yeah,
that their kids are like,
they're done.
They're going to be wearing them for the rest of their lives,
yeah.
Like some Asian subway rider.
Yeah, we were in one restaurant.
They do that. That's not a racial thing. By the way, Asian's not racist. It's continental.
Right. But there was one restaurant we went in that had a hand sanitizer outside of the restroom. Right. So I guess it could make some sense, but isn't that a good place to wash your hands? Like you really got to like wash your hands and then put hand sanitizer on? Isn't the washing of the hands, isn't that good? Aren't we done? Cool.
Yeah.
Wash my hands.
Yeah.
I saw a funny sign in the bathroom. One bathroom, it said employees must wash hands. And then in a little print below it, it said, if an employee is not available, please wash your own hands.
Did somebody add that sign? Did they add it?
No, they added it. Like
okay.
It was kind of a funny place. Oh God, so funny.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, this goes with what our theme is tonight because we're talking about. I mean, it's just the America's summer travel special, like midsummer travel and whatnot. I mean,
can I make a couple of comments?
Oh, sure. And I'll bet it has nothing to do with what the topic is.
Well, the second one might. Okay. The second one might, maybe. I don't know. Probably not. But the first one is, I drove a lot here to Maine back down here. So about 1,600 miles or so. Mm-hmm. And one thing that I noticed on the trip is that the bridges have a sign saying how high what's the height. Isn't that too late? Unless the font is huge and you have time to lock them up if you're in a truck or you got kayaks or something on there.
I think that's just so they can say, hey, we told you so.
We told you.
Yeah, we told you.
They might as well put it on the other side so when your shit gets knocked off, you're like,
how did that happen?
Yeah,
well, it was because it was 9'6".
Yeah. And then, like when you're coming down through Connecticut on the Merritt Parkway,
Ugh.
all the bridges there, they have different heights on each side. So what are you gonna? You gotta be like, you gotta swerve over here because this one's.
I gotta get a left lane. They probably have more accidents from people crossing over.
Oh yeah, because they're like, oh, my bicycle, which you have stacked perfectly on top of your car.
I did do that one time with a bicycle. This was many moons ago. When I lived in Georgia, I had a bike wreck on top of a Jeep Cherokee and totally forgot about it. But I didn't go. I wasn't going too fast because there was all kinds of crap in the garage. It hit, but as soon as it hit, I heard it.
Well,
and it could have been
wood.
Well, but I mean, normally I just whip it in there, right? But there were kids' big wheels and stuff in the garage, so I was just like, I had to navigate. So I said, "What was that?" And I stopped. And I thought I hit a big wheel. It was my bike. My front wheel was bent on the bike.
So that was just going in your garage?
Yeah.
Oh. So it wasn't like you were on a highway or something. That's pretty funny. Here's the other thing that I found. This is kind of like twofold. This is a two-folder in a one-story thing. So Elsa came through on Thursday.
The little
the hurricane.
I thought you were talking about the Disney character.
No.
Was she a princess or something?
Yeah.
Frozen?
Yeah. And one thing I noticed is when you're, obviously the news is all about the weather because it's raining and it's going to rain and it's going to rain. They keep saying that. But why is it that the weather, let's say weatherman in this situation, why do they look so disheveled? Like they come out and they're still wearing like a tie and everything, but their jacket's off. Like they're in the back, they're like, oh my God, look at the rain. Their hair's all messed up. Like what could they possibly be doing?
But that's got to be a show, right? Do they roll up their sleeves?
Oh yeah, they roll up their sleeves and they're like,
okay. Oh, and they got free papers in their hand, like they just came off the
Doppler printer. Yeah. They pull it in. Oh my God, look at this.
The dot matrix. Yeah, I mean, it is the weather. Did I just read, by the way, that Fox is buying Weather Channel?
Oh, geez.
So they're gonna how the Weather Channel had Hot Babes before.
Oh yeah.
Now you're not gonna be allowed to watch it.
No, nope. Take that channel out. I mean, it's going to be a pay-for channel anyway, based on what you're talking about.
Like, what was that
we can't pay $14.99 a month for the weather.
What did they call that channel? What was it called? It wasn't Playboy Channel, but it was it was a premium channel way back.
Oh yeah.
When people used to turn their boxes over and put the screwdriver in sideways, and somehow they could get channel.
Or you'd sit and just watch Squiggles.
Spice Channel. Spice.
You'd watch the Squiggle.
Yeah.
Because every once in a while it would like go, and then it would go.
Boom.
Yeah.
Nibble.
But here's the other thing I've noticed is that there seems to be a pretty big increase in the number of sign language people next to who's ever making a statement about anything. Have you noticed that now they're everywhere? Like I'm surprised that there are enough of them.
Well, you remember that one? It was probably 10, 12 years ago. The guy that was a fake.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah. But how do we?
And people were like,
how do we even know that they're saying?
Are they doing that? That's typical on the weather stuff, right? When a hurricane's coming through.
But like with if now Fox is taking over Weather Channel and we're going to have the sign language people, they're definitely going to change. It's going to be commentary about like all the global warming and the things like that. But then I started thinking, I'm like,
wait, so why do we hold on a second? And this is nothing against people that can't hear.
What?
This is nothing against people that can't hear, right?
I can't believe you fell in for that.
Yep. What?
You said people that can't hear, and I said what? You said it again. If I said it again and you fell into that, we're going to stop the show and start over.
Show's over. But they get like double treatment. And I'm not saying that, but I mean, we're discriminating against because all we get's audio, right? Well, they get the sign language person and the closed caption option. Right.
Well, why do they even show the sign language person? Shouldn't it just be closed caption? Like, shouldn't they, as a courtesy during something like that, they should just have the stuff on the bottom of the screen? Why do you have to do closed caption?
Well, I imagine, I was thinking about that, but I imagine that there's a percentage of population that cannot hear nor read. and it's probably 0.1 of 1%, right? I mean, 1/10 of 1% of people that have that hearing disability can't read either.
So they don't. So they
cater to they cater to 0.1% of the population.
Right.
It's like, well, I mean, it's like a lot of stuff, right? We cater to let's use COVID as an example, right? I mean, we've shut down basically the economy for 0.2% of the population.
What about the people that attend the event? So
they don't get closed captions.
Well, yeah, but the person doing the signing, huh?
You got a bug on your.
Yeah. The person doing the signing is in the back. What if they can't? So what if they don't have their glasses? Now what? What's that point?
Well, they probably cordon off a little ribbon area for the one person that's in the crowd,
right? Because
that's basically the population
right.
here.
Oh, and here's the other thing. You hear a lot about, like, somebody gets eaten by a shark, and somehow they know the chances of that happening. Like, how does somebody figure out the chances of getting bitten by a shark are, 1 in 250,000, whatever?
Why?
Who's doing the math on this?
That's pretty simple math, isn't it? Don't you take the population, the number of people, and then the number of shark bites?
What if the sharks just aren't around?
Well, you're saying, but like overall, the odds of the population in the world is $6 billion, and there's 14. Then they may say, okay, $6 billion.
Dollars?
No, did I say dollars?
You did.
6 billion peeps, or 7, whatever the fuck it is now. And then you say, you take that percent, you take the number, then divide it by the population.
Is that really the chance of it happening?
Overall, but they may take an area, a beach. Well, we have, 2 million beachgoers that come here every year, and there's 2 shark bites. 2 out of 2 million is, somebody do the math for me, but 0.0001%.
I think there could be some sort of a competition on that. Like, you could do a game show.
Our beach has a higher percentage of shark bites.
No. Like different things. Like, which has a better percentage? Because this is another thing. They always compare it to something else. So getting bitten by a shark or having a rock thrown on your car from a bridge when you're, you know what I'm saying? They always do a comparison of I don't know. That's maybe not going anywhere.
That might be another show.
Right. No, it sounds like it's a game show. So you'd be like, I'll choose.
That's like trivia night. Those are like trivia night questions, right?
That could be a board game.
I think you're onto something here.
Let's get to the show then.
Well, tonight is it's midsummer. We're about mid-July. Just think though, we're halfway through.
We're halfway through. Email? You want to respond to that?
We're halfway through from Memorial Day to Labor Day, roughly.
Right.
I mean, we're like within a day or two of it. So we're midsummer. It's hard to believe that we're halfway through the summer right now. And of course, with that comes the.
Wait, why is that hard to believe?
It just seems like it's going fast. No, not to you?
What, the summer?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is to me. But you were like, I've been just traveling. I've just been here, like, toiling in the soul.
Sitting here putting shows together.
With nobody to do them.
Buying shirts.
Or used by some big dude named
shirts,
Smalls.
Small shirt.
So we have, of course, the Major League Baseball All-Star, right? Game. Which I had manifested some tickets to last year for the game that was supposed to be in Atlanta.
Racist.
Yeah. So I had tickets.
Wait, you nationalityist.
So I had tickets. I had like, hey, my hometown, I'm going to go down there and take my sons. We're going to have an all-star weekend and everything else. When all of a sudden, as we covered on another show, one of the bonehead moves was MLB pulls the all-star game from Atlanta because of their racist voting policies. Which, ironically enough, all they're requiring is like some proof of identification for that. Which then they took it and they put it.
Kinkos in Atlanta.
She made some Kinkos. Kinko's. We're
So you
talking
can't
about.
go to a Blockbuster and get a photo copy made anywhere, except Bend, Oregon.
And then you can't have a meal at Farrell's or like Bennigan's.
Right. Yeah.
After you vote. We're talking about Kamala Harris and saying that people in the rural community don't have access to Kinko's. Well, I don't have access to Kinko's. Do you have access to Kinko's?
No, I remember those days.
To make copies of their identification. You know why they can't make copies of their identification?
They don't have one?
Because they lost it.
Yeah.
Or it's impounded because they have 17 DUIs.
Somebody said today that 11% of the voting population does not have an ID. That is insane. That means that everybody would know somebody that doesn't have one.
Right. Here's what they're talking about.
Can somebody call in? If you don't have an ID, please call in.
Here's what they're talking about. Right. So think about that. That's probably including the dead people that vote in Chicago.
Babies.
Right. Kids that aren't of age, family dogs and pets that are on the voter rolls.
Yeah.
So that's probably true. There's probably 11% of the voter rolls of people that don't exist or don't exist, or they're underage, or you have animals.
But 11% is like it's like 40 million people.
Where did that come from, though?
Some stupid.
Right. So nobody questions like when they say 11%. The guy said 11% of the population, or they're talking heads that are saying 11% of the, and nobody says, where do you get that statistic? I mean, what does that mean? Nobody questions the data.
Right. What if you said, listen, why don't you get one by the end of the summer? I mean, we're midsummer. You got plenty of time to go get an ID.
Until Labor Day. Yeah.
It's not hard. It's not fun to get one. I mean, anybody who's ever been to a license
DMV
place or yeah. But still, if you want to vote, go get one.
Have you done this universal license thing yet?
Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake! You probably got your shot too. You fucking homo.
You have to get that one. You can't.
I got a passport.
Well, I know, but still, why not just get it? What's the difference?
Because I don't want to stand in line. I don't want to wait. So where'd you get yours? You go up to like Lewisburg and whatnot?
Oh, it was so frustrating. I went to like Durham and I didn't have a reservation. So I got in line.
Wait, you didn't have a reservation? That would be like going to Boston on a trip to see the Red Sox and Kenny Chesney and not having a reservation hotel. I mean, that's silly,
Reservations are racist. Wait,
you get their reservation.
Nationalities. Yep. But I waited in line. And so I was like third in line. I'm like, oh, this isn't so bad. But all the people that had reservations
were behind you?
No, they would just drive up and they'd walk up and they said, do you have a reservation? And they were like, yep. They're like, okay, come on.
So they kept jumping in front of you?
Yeah, our line didn't move for like hours.
How do you not learn that lesson?
I should have brought like left, right, center or something and set up a table. We could have like played games while we waited to get in.
Played dice.
Made some money.
Well, you were in Durham. Played dice.
Yeah. Oh nope! I get your $20.
Well, I put on here the image of the original All-Star game, which of course we have, Atlanta right here.
I forgot you had something set up for that.
Right. Yeah. Well, there's Atlanta. Mm-hmm. So that's this weekend. But by the way, I don't think I finished in saying that they moved it to Colorado, right? Because they said, well, we just got to get out of Atlanta. But they have more stringent voter ID requirements in the state of Colorado than to do Georgia.
I know, but there never used to be requirements to vote. You just went and voted. Like, wasn't it like maybe 8 years ago or something like that where they started like early voting? And people started going to like the schools like a couple of weeks ahead and voting.
Yeah, the problem is
it's like, why not just go vote now?
The problem is this.
Just vote. Boom.
The problem is, vote now for
just
who?
Vote now.
The problem is when you have more people that vote in that precinct than are either registered voters or populists. Right. I mean, there was that in Philadelphia a couple of years ago. There were more people that voted than there were people living in the precinct. I'm not just talking about people of age, than people living in the precinct. So that's a problem.
Right.
I think it's wrong. And it's not a lot to ask. You say, like, and I've done this for years, though. So you go in there and you say your name and your address, and they look it up, and then they check it off. And I would I would say, here's my voter ID. Like, I had to get a voter ID. I mean, I have like I said, a little document that says I'm a registered voter. And I would show it to them. They were like, no, we don't want to. I said, no, I insist. And they'd be like, well, we can't. The very people that issued that document wouldn't accept it. That's just odd. So anyway, so let's talk. So we've done some traveling here. So I've got some things that we'll talk about in terms of summer travel.
Where'd you go?
I just went down to Bluffton, South Carolina, to the hospital.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake. I mean, you were like in Maine, like tiptoeing around
the bushes.
Yeah, the bush.
George W.
So I don't have as much fun, but anyway. But here's our trigger warning of the week, though. I saw this, and I don't know if you've seen this. This is the new pride flag. We've got a new pride flag here.
It's pretty energetic there.
Well, we had the rainbow flag for a while, right?
What is the hole?
Well,
is that like a punch thing so you can put it on like a
so you can
wear it around your neck or
on your lanyard?
Yeah.
So I counted them up here.
There are to actually put the hole.
There are, if you count these up, there are a total of 13 different colors on here. All of which means something different. I couldn't tell you right now. It's another show that we did before. I don't recall all of them. But there are 13 different colors. But this one was new to me this week.
That goes good with your little template there, too. You get the triangles.
Yeah.
It's very fun and festive.
Yeah.
You can fill that thing with candy and make it into a piñata.
You can't say piñata.
That's a whole nother,
You can't say piñata because it's Mexican and it's violent.
That's a whole nother gender reveal thing right there. So it's like we're gonna reveal what our baby's gonna be. It's gonna be this light blue line in the middle.
Yeah, don't they do the color bombs and that kind of stuff? Well, it used to be blue and pink. Now it's. Yeah, you're gonna see that. We laugh at that, but there's gonna be parents that are gonna be preordaining what their kids identify as.
Yeah,
because they're doing it now. Yeah. When they say that my 4-year-old identifies as this, no, you did as a parent. You did.
Or what if you really wanted a boy and you got a girl? You're like, no, we're gonna have it identify as a boy. We have a boy.
God, imagine that with me. My mom, I probably told you this. When I was born, my mom bawled, crying because I was a boy.
Well, that's what they told you, the reason why she started crying. There's a lot of reasons that actually came true, which is amazing.
But could you
imagine? She's like Nostradamus.
Could you imagine, though, if I was a chick? So my mom says, she even said this week, she goes, my God, thank God you weren't the female. Because I'd be a hell of a damn third baseman in the softball team. Anyway, so this new one is demisexuality.
Demisexuality.
And I was thinking, Demi Moore.
Oh, yeah.
No. This was, I saw this first from Governor Cuomo, Andrew Cuomo, New York governor's daughter, who says she's now demisexual, or whatever. Well, when she was, and she tells the story, this is an interview she conducted, anybody can look it up, where she was talking about when she was in elementary school, she thought she might be lesbian. Mm-hmm. How, in elementary school, did you ever think about the word lesbian or gay? The only time I used gay...
It wasn't even taught to us in school back then.
The only time I used the term gay in elementary school was to say, stop being gay and come out and play football. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't we didn't think two men, or whatever, two people that identify as men, ramming each other in the bunghole.
That's what the hole is for.
We didn't.
That's what it is.
We didn't think about that. We just said that was just a word we heard and everything else.
That's for guys that just haven't come out of the closet yet. That little hole.
Those are guys that just throw things in the glory hole, see what happens, right? Yeah, I don't know what that is. So the demisexual, so she said, okay, I'm a lesbian. And then she said when she got to middle school, she determined that she was bisexual. Okay. Which I've probably said this before here. There's really no such thing. I mean, from a cisgender male standpoint, either you suck dick or you don't. I mean, there it is, right there, right? But let's just say that's valid.
I'm not even going to ask. You can keep going.
Let's just say that's valid, right? But then she evolved, and then she said, no, when she got to high school, she says, I'm pansexual.
She likes pans?
Well, I looked that up, and I still didn't quite get the answer. And I think it means that you like anything that loves you back.
What if you like pillow sexual? Is that somebody that likes the My Pillow?
I guess, well, then you would be
My Pillow sexual?
Racist. You'd be racist because you like a My Pillow.
That
But now
the flag.
this demisexual is you only have relations. I don't even think they said sex, but relations with people you're emotionally connected to.
Like
So
Clinton.
whether they're
Like Clinton did.
was he emotionally connected?
I mean, that's what he told her.
Oh,
At the time.
yeah,
You can go in and out of that one.
yeah. You are
Whatever it takes.
You are my soulmate.
Yeah.
You are my soulmate. So that was a new word to me. So the flag now, and that might be the circle, because the circle is new to me. That might be what that is.
Right.
But this is a revised flag here. And I was thinking, this flag, they said, we want a flag that embraces everyone. Okay. Well, if you have a flag that embraces everyone, where's the what they call cisgender,
Right.
heterosexual male? It doesn't embrace that. We're not on there, are
No.
we? Wouldn't you think, like,
I don't know. Maybe
wouldn't you
we
think
are.
the American flag would be like the most appropriate, that says, hey, this
So what is blue and pink?
I don't know. They lost
It
me
looks
a
like
little.
there's a white line
No,
there.
so the light blue is people that identify as male. The pink is people who identify as female.
Did they identify with them because they have the genitals of those people? Like, yeah,
Doesn't mean it's not supposed to matter.
Oh,
Right?
so it's all in the head. This is what they need to not make it a flag. They need to make it in the shape of a brain.
Mm-hmm.
Small brain. Very small brain, but
Yeah. Well, I didn't know if you'd heard of it, and I just saw that this past week, and thought it was interesting for discussion.
I like it. I think it's
But
well
I don't want to
done.
spend too much time on it.
I think it's well done.
Here's the word or phrase of the week. Dove shoot. Dove shoot. So I thought it was interesting when a college friend of mine says, yeah, I don't know if I can make it that weekend. That's our dove shoot weekend. And I know what dove shoot isn't, where you go hunt dove and you shoot frickin' dove and you cook them up and whatnot.
Yeah. I have a feeling that's not.
Which by the way, I've done before. I have done before, and
I think you've done this one too. You're just like, fly, fly, be free.
I have not. I've actually been at a funeral, though. I was an altar boy at a funeral where they did that, right?
Is that a magician? Oh, that would be a rabbit.
No. No, they do doves, too, didn't they?
They do?
Yeah, yeah.
Depends.
Yeah. So dove shoot, I thought, okay, and when she said that, it was like, I was thinking about that for a second. So the dove is the symbol of peace, right? It's a global symbol of peace. Don't they launch doves at like the Olympics or funerals and stuff like that to indicate peace? But we have an event called a dove shoot, and I thought, here's the best definition for it: a sporting event organized to kill via violence. Well, what happened to the rest of it? The global symbol. I don't know what happened to it.
Man,
but
I
the
can't
global
wait to talk about swimming with the Jews.
the global symbol of peace. I thought that's define irony,
That's
right?
nice.
I don't know why I didn't get the rest of it.
People shoot doves?
Yeah,
Why?
a lot of them. You need to shoot a lot of them to eat anything, right?
You eat a dove?
Yeah,
That's got to be bad karma.
tastes like chicken.
How come nothing tastes like frog legs? Wasn't that the first one that everybody was saying tastes like chicken?
Tastes like chicken.
Tastes like chicken.
Yeah. I can tell you though, alligator does not taste like chicken. People say, no, it does not.
It tastes like crock.
Well, what do you have to do? Yeah. How do you cook an alligator?
Oh.
In a crock pot. We'll get to those. I got plenty of dad jokes, by the way. All right. So, some story that you might not believe, and you may have been there for this. Were you there at the swim meet at the Jewish Community Center
maybe.
You would remember this if you were. So Jake and I had old family friends, and let's just call this the father. Let's just call him Fred Gupton.
Okay. I know Fred.
And Fred Gupton had, were they 5 kids? They had like a lot of kids, right?
For a while.
Four girls and a son. And they lived in our subdivision, and our subdivision had a swim team. And this particular night, we were swimming against the Jewish Community Center, at the Jewish Community Center.
Did Word of God ever swim there?
No. I don't think Word of God had a swim team.
I never thought it was fair for any team going up against them. Like you'd see in the paper when people used to get you'd get the newspaper, and you'd see the scores, and it'd be like, Word of God, 17, Wakefield 1. It's like, how are you possibly going to beat Word of God?
And how do you score against Word of God?
I know, and if you beat Word of God, is that like a sin?
Well, I would think this: if your swim team's called Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints or whatever, nobody's swimming. Who has to swim? They're walking around.
They're running across the water.
I think there's got to be stories of Mary, Virgin Mary, taking Jesus to swim lessons. And everybody's getting frustrated with it.
Yeah.
Jesus getting water. He goes, I don't need to get in the water.
Yeah, I can't. Be like swimming on the grass. Can't do it.
The same thing here. Like with the Jewish people, though, Moses was Jew, right? He didn't have to swim. He just parked the water.
Yeah.
That's the picture right here. If you look at the picture, you see he's running across. He's walking across. But no, this was so our swim team. We went to the Jewish Community Center, and that was the meet. And Fred Gupton, right? That was his name. Mm-hmm. Fred Gupton had one of his daughters who was a swimmer. Her name was Julia. Julia.
Wait, was that really her name?
Yeah, that was really her name. And Julia's swimming, and Fred's a pretty big guy. You remember Fred, right?
He's a Smalls.
Yeah,
he was a Smalls.
He and I were probably similar in stature.
Wasn't he a tall small? Was he
about my height?
He was?
Yeah, he's about my height. And Fred was loud, nice guy, very nice guy, but pretty loud. And as Julia's swimming in the pool in her race, he's walking up and down the side of the pool, just like parents do. They're yelling, screaming, yeah. Right. Well, Julia was referred to by her parents as her short name was Jew, right?
Oh, no, come on.
And so, and Fredward's walking up and down, like when she's swimming her laps, walking up and down, and he's going, go, Jew, go, Jew, go, Jew. And we're surrounded by Jewish people. And I'm thinking, they're thinking, what the hell? Like, he could be talking about half the pool. And afterwards, he and I went and had a couple of beers. I'm like, dude, you were cheering on half their team.
And you had no idea.
He had no idea. No idea. And he didn't mean anything by it, but I was looking around and you can see these people going, who's he talking to? Is he talking to my kid? Who's this guy cheering on my kid? So that's a true story.
I mean, you could tell the boys that were on the Jewish team because of the bathing suits. You could tell which ones were them, and
is that the throat clear me?
Yeah.
Go on to the next.
Yes, I tried to click the mouse with me.
So we both had some road trips here, and I had some road travel thoughts that were actually triggered by people that were in the vehicle with me. One of them in particular, and we'll just call her Karen Farrell. Karen was she's kind of an observationalist like myself. Mm-hmm. She'll see some things and ask the questions, and where everybody else is just kind of like playing with their phones and everything else. So she's a fun, probably like pick this out or I Spy, the kind of games. And so we had a road trip, and they were in the vehicle, and a couple of questions came up. One question was about pyramids in the U.S. Like you look at all the other countries or continents at least, and there are pyramids. There's pyramids in Asia. There's pyramids in Africa. There's pyramids in even Europe. There's pyramids in South America. There's pyramids in Australia. There's not pyramids in Antarctica. They were, human built, right? Ancient pyramids. There's pyramids in the U.S. However, they're all man-made, right? Like the Luxor and things like that. So are there any pyramids in the U.S.? And I've never seen a pyramid in the U.S. Have you seen a pyramid in the U.S.?
No, not on the East Coast.
I thought that was thought provoking, which I did though did some research on, and there is one. It's called Monk's Mound in Illinois. And it's not really a pyramid stack; it's an earthen pyramid. But it's. And did you know this? Based on my research for the show, which I do, and I'm sure you appreciate.
I think they appreciate the fact that I don't do any research.
What's the largest pyramid in the world? What do you think? I mean, it's got to be the Great Pyramids of Egypt, right?
The Smalls period?
The Great Pyramids of Egypt are not the largest. In Pueblo, Mexico is the largest. That photo right there is a picture of the one in Pueblo, Mexico. It's the largest pyramid.
What's the thing up on top?
Oh, up here?
Mm-hmm.
Cows. So the other question was, as we're driving along through rural areas in Virginia, West Virginia, are there such things as wild cows? You have feral pigs, hogs, boars. You have wild chickens. You have wild horses.
So just unclaimed cows.
Mm-hmm. Huh. Those are good questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good questions. I don't really want to get into that, but I did some research on that. There were in India.
I think there are. I think they're hiding among the ones that are owned.
Brush?
Yeah. No, they're hiding in the.
They're within the
groups. Yeah. They're kind of just hiding out. They're just like it's almost like
they're like drifters.
No, it's like a witness protection program for cows because they're just out there. Nobody's gonna be like, hey, wait a minute. Show me your ID. And he's just like, I don't have one. I'm 1%. I don't have one. I couldn't find a Kinko's. A Cowco.
There's no Kinko's out
There's
here.
no Cowco out here. We're in the middle of we're rural.
Thank you, Kamala. So I got some, as I went along the way, as I was driving along, this was yesterday, and these are all, whether they're good or not, the truth is, I came up with these as I was driving back. It was about a 5-hour drive. And, Sunday morning, basically, you're having all the entertainment, the XM, the Sirius XM, and everything else. There's really not a lot going on, right? And I'm not going to listen to European golf on the radio, or I'll end up in a ditch. So I was just kind of looking around.
In a bunker?
Making
on a knoll somewhere.
A pot bunker. Making observations. So I came up with these, which turned out to be dad jokes, right? Look at this one, by the way, the image I got here. This is my stepladder. I never knew my real ladder. See, I'm a dad joke guy. I think they're pretty damn funny.
Right.
So
I think the boys think you're a joke too.
Yeah. Yes. So the first one, and this one was not specific to travel. A lot of these other ones are specific to the things that you observe on the highway. But this one was based on a radio show I was listening to, or a podcast actually, and they were talking and then one guy mentioned fondue. Mm-hmm. I was like, fondue? What do you do with fondue? What do you do? How do you eat it? And so then I thought it hit me, and I said, why isn't the fondue chef very funny?
Why? Because
his jokes are cheesy.
You made that up?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I got another.
Why is the font so small?
Because I got 11.
Is that part of the joke?
I have 11.
11 of them. Okay. Good thing you don't have like 13 of them. They would just look like lines going across the screen.
Why doesn't the fence builder use social media?
Why?
Because he's really tired of all the posts.
You made that one up too?
Yeah. As I drive along, I saw the fence, and I was like, hey, there's a fence post.
You made up 11 jokes?
11.
Okay. I made one up. I'll tell it to you.
You want to?
No, I'll tell you at the end. You're on a roll here.
Like butter. Why didn't the AAA roadside service guy not want to go out to dinner with his wife after work?
Why?
Because he was really tired.
Tired?
Tires.
Oh, because he's tired. That's pretty good. It's all right. Should have started with that one, and it would have made the other two funnier, but that's all right.
What's the preferred card game for highway travelers? Bridge.
You made that one up too?
Yeah, so I see these things. I saw a bridge. I said, how can I incorporate that?
Good.
What can I do with that one?
I'm pretty impressed.
Oh, wait. You wait. You just wait. Which cars hold the most water?
Were you writing these down while you're driving?
I was dictating them into my phone. I said, take.
Okay.
Which cars hold the most water?
What?
The ones with bucket seats, of course. Oh, it's pretty good here.
If I go and Google any of these jokes,
Hey, I promise you, these were all stream of conscious,
okay.
and it was all about a 2-hour window. You can ask Johnny Chestnut. I mean, or Juan Crestnut, because I was sending them to him one after the other. What's this one's going to be on there? Mm-hmm. What's the favorite statistical calculation for highway designers? The median. Why don't truck drivers ever watch movies?
Because they're always in the trailer?
Because they've already seen all the trailers. Why didn't the vampire know he was being pursued by the police? Because he was afraid to look in the mirror. Why does the stuntman prefer traveling on interstate highways instead of back roads? Because he can always find a ramp. And I think this is the last one. Yeah. No, this is the second last one. What do aggressive drivers most like to do before sporting events? Tailgate.
Yeah.
And finally, what type of vehicle do midgets prefer to travel in? Minivans.
Those are really good. That's really good.
I mean, that was like a 2-hour window of like rural South Carolina that had no, because there were no Kinkos there.
Right.
I couldn't.
Yeah, you couldn't
stop.
Yeah. So you've heard of the joke about like what's the best time to go to the dentist? 2:30.
2:30.
What's the best time to get your teeth cleaned?
You've used this.
I know, but I made it up. They don't know.
No, I don't know.
You can say it.
No, because you say it better than me.
Go ahead.
2/5 clean.
Tooth clean. That is funny.
Remember we played golf and used that on Ron Friello?
And he had the straightest face.
It
was like I just told him that like
his dog died.
Like the chemical makeup of boron or something like that. I'm like, that's funny.
2/5 clean.
2/5 clean.
Do you have any other? Oh, you didn't bring your phone in for notes.
No, those are just my notes off the top of my head.
No. Oh, well, our meme of the week, because I got so sick of hearing this. You go to certain places, and I'll ask you this: what's the most common thing that you hear when you go to?
I don't know what.
When you go to like restaurants and that, and there's a long wait, and you're like, "There's tables available,"
yeah.
or
we can't get staff.
Why not? What do they say though? What's the reason?
Because of COVID.
Yes.
Yeah. It's
Oh
not
my
because
God.
of COVID. It's not at all
It's
because
not
of
because
COVID.
of COVID. It's because they're getting
Because of
money.
the government.
Yeah. But when I hear that, I just cringe. And when somebody starts their sentence by saying because of COVID, so
Please be patient.
I actually created this meme. Somebody may have before, but I did it today because I was thinking, and I thought back, what image would best portray it? And it was, Jules from Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Say because of COVID one more motherfucking time. I mean, that is my sentiment right there. I just wanted to strangle them. Well, because of COVID, we're a year and a half out from that.
Right. When do you think it'll ever go away?
For some people, it will not.
No.
Some people won't. Well, we had kids.
I know, but they were like that before anyway, right?
We had a kid this year in our high school baseball program that wasn't varsity, but that his parents wouldn't let him play baseball this year because of COVID. Now, I get if we're in the midst of it, we're a year and a half from the beginnings of it, and we had opportunities for everybody to get vaccinated or everything, or gene therapized, whatever the
Is that like Vicks vapor rub?
Yeah, well, whatever.
Just rub
whatever
a little bit on your chest.
They're sticking in people, but of all sports, you're outside, you're socially distanced, and he's missed basically 2 years. And I'm not saying the kid's going to be a superstar or anything else. I just feel bad for him.
Oh yeah,
he's
the
missed
memories and the.
Yeah, he's missed 2 years of high school of just interacting with his buds, and I mean it's beyond me. But that's one of the things I'm just totally sick of.
It's like remember it was the helicopter parent?
Yeah.
Originally, now it's like the COVID parent.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh,
the COVID Karens.
We were in a hotel in New Jersey on Saturday night on the 8th floor, and we're checking out. I'm just trying to go downstairs. Donna had already gone downstairs, and I hit the button. The door opens, and it's a mother and a daughter in the elevator with masks on, and they said, we're not ready for other passengers, right? I was like, what the fuck, right? So I went down, I told Donna that story. She goes, you should have told him. Say, that's fine. Why don't you get out and I'll get in and you can wait for the next elevator. Which I thought of that.
That's true.
She would have said
so
that.
you were outside the elevator and they wouldn't let you on.
They wouldn't let me on, yeah.
I would have done exactly that.
Yeah.
Fuck's sake. What were they doing traveling?
I know. That's what I'm saying. Sleep in your car. Take the stairs. COVID likes stairs, though, I think. I don't know. I don't know if that's COVID likes stairs, staircases.
Probably because there's no open air light.
Right.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I think you're worse off though in an elevator,
right?
Because you're packed in. Or
when we checked in,
I'd be interested to hear if they flew. If I would ask them, hey, just before you go, did you fly here?
Yeah. Wait before you go. Yeah, just nasty. I heard that they're getting rid of the mask mandate on airplanes. Did you hear that?
No, Rand Paul has proposed a bill for that,
Yeah.
but they haven't done it yet. If I don't fly again, I'm fine.
Oh, I gotta go to Vegas this week. It's just gonna be. I gotta sit there I gotta go in, buy a bag of trail mix and eat one at a time for 5 hours, so I can keep my mask down.
Ooh, that's a lot of calories.
No.
You gotta chew slow.
Yeah. Like this. Like one of those city cows.
Not the wild ones.
The wild city cow.
All right, well, that's what we got this week. Anything you want to add to it before you go off to Vegas?
No, I don't think so.
Well, just check us out as usual.
How's the watch?
I
How's the
haven't
watch
looked.
going up?
I haven't looked.
Your mom was the one that was supposed to be promoting the show. What is she doing?
She's dealing with my dad at the
What about
hospital.
What about the dentist?
My mom.
The dentist.
What about the dentist?
The dentist was your mom said your dentist.
Her dentist.
Her loves this show.
Her dentist. Yeah.
Has he seen it yet?
I don't know. I have to check the stats. Check that. But tell your friends, your families, your colleagues. Go to YouTube. Look up now.
Watch
That's
some
the
of the
show.
later shows. Some of the more recent ones.
No. You should look at the pilot. I'd start with the pilot. That's what I would do. But that's just me talking.